Okay, a very quick, rapid recap on what I did today from a tutorial perspective, kind of second tutorial, I guess, on this project. You've uploaded your 2D files, which we did last week. Now you need to go into 3D models and upload the two models that I've shared with you on OneDrive. So navigate to where you save them, click them, and open. Or you can hold down Control, click the two of them and open. And it'll take a little bit of time possibly for that to process in there, but once you're done, those Revit files will be in there. Those Revit files are, well, as I said, they're Revit files, they're .rvt files. Once you select them, once you click on them, you'll have access to the file. So you can see it there, that's all loaded up. Just a kind of word of warning on this, if for whatever reason it's a bit slow, you might need to delete your caches. When I say it's a bit slow, I mean that the responsiveness, you don't see everything that's on these drawings, the columns are missing. What you want to do is you want to go over up to your little three dots here, click them, click settings, come across to security and privacy, and clear your browsing data, including your caches. Now, obviously, that'll delete your browsing data, URLs that are saved as cookies, but most importantly, the caches are deleted. And what happens then is there's no clashes between what's saved kind of as caches on your browsing data and what's utilized in the software. So that's important. Get that uploaded. What we're going to do first off is going to create a package. So click packages. I've already done one here, a couple in fact, but what you'll do, 3D package, or whatever you want to call it. Call it 3D and your name maybe. Create package. I'm going to click on it there, and I've access, or I should have access to those drawings, along with the 2D information that was also added previously. So I'm going to pin those two drawings or those two models to the top. And what I'm going to work on for the moment is the car park model. So I went through today in a little bit more detail how to navigate the drawing or the model. You would have done that quite a bit with your tutorials. This little spin tool. What I will say is use a mouse when you're doing this. Push down on the mouse wheel, you can pan, zoom in and out with the mouse wheel, and then with the little, I suppose, spin here or orbit icon, you can actually orbit. Selection tool to click on information. In that case, maybe I'll select one of those walls, external walls, and then to see the properties of the wall, click properties. Okay, if you're not clicked on anything, all that will show up is the properties of the model itself, but by clicking on an object and selecting properties, up comes the properties. Now you can access obviously the properties when you're doing your model mapping as well in a different way. There's also the adding different panes, and you can bring that up or bring that down. And then click remove Z pane, and you can do the same with the Y pane and the X pane. And you can create arcs as well and section it as slopes. I don't really use that tool a whole lot. There's a little quick measurement tool. Obviously that will give you a little measurement from item to item. There it is at 6,750 millimeters. Just exit that by clicking escape. You've got your settings here. You can ghost it and unghost it depending on what you want to see kind of as a hidden line. I usually have that ghost settings turned off. So let's just do a little bit of a quick takeoff. I did a bit more on that today. You've got a couple of other items there, especially the cluster function. That's quite useful. And seeing that kind of on, I suppose, a linear basis rather than as an actual model. Okay, so you can kind of go between those two when you're measuring your takeoff. Click takeoff types. And what I measured today, and I'm going to do very, very quickly, is this particular item. Now, this particular item being the external walls, the block wall. If I want to see it in terms of its category, let's select walls. That's all my walls. And there's my different RC concrete wall, RC parapet concrete wall, and then the render 2 and 5 blockwork. So everything under that as such is all one item of that rendered, or just one particular object of all those rendered 2 and 5 block walls. Now, because I'm measuring all my 2 and 5 block walls, I'm going to click all of the category instead of clicking one particular item. Okay, so there's all my walls. taken and selected there. So what I did today was I selected one first, just so that data is available for me when I go into my takeoff types. I click the plus, and there I have rendered to and flight block wall. Make sure that I'm on the BIM module of this rather than one of the 2D takeoffs, and add some details. So the first item I want to measure, it will count the BIM object, is the wall area. So I'm looking for a wall area. The code, I believe, would be Architecture Works non-structural, based on the ICMS meters squared. Now in here goes a default for area, and in fact that's what I'm looking for. So what I'm looking for is an area, and I'm going to map one of the object properties to that area. So in here, type in area. That will not be available for you if you do not have anything selected. So if I type that in, there's nothing there, and there's nothing in here. I'll need to select one of my properties and select area. Okay, there we are. Okay, so select one of my objects, area to area, and that's fine. What else might I look for here? I look for length. Keep it in the same classification. I'm just going to 2. Levels as such, meters, length is fine in there, and I'm going to map to length. Okay, and I can see the BIM property length if need be. It should be bolded. Where is it? There it is there, 6750. I was happy enough with that. What else do I need for this? I might even do a wall area check. And I'll calculate this a different way. Meter squared. This time instead of area to area, I'm going to go length, which I've already mapped because it's in there, times a height, which I believe is an object property. And it's not a direct object property. If I start typing in height, I can see that an unconnected height comes up when I click it. And that unconnected height, because it's not connected to a floor above, is 1.1. If you wanted to double check that by clicking your little measurement tool and drawing a kind of a top and bottom on that, just to check it is 1.1. What else might I take? Bonding to other work. So on either side of my wall, I'll be bonding to, I suppose, the columns. So some sort of design joint or anchors will be built into that particular column to house those walls. So let me say bonding. Now I'm not sure exactly what the engineer will spec there, but bonding to other work. Usually it's measured as a linear length, basically on each side. So because we've got bonding to other work on each side, click Architecture Works, keep it consistent with what's gone before, and I believe it'll be height, which I've already mapped to my unconnected height, times 2 either side of the wall, this side and that side. So happy enough with that. Bonding to the work, I won't need this, but I might map to a volume. And capital, keep it. I need to drop into it. There's cubed, volume, and volume. And there I have a BIM object. Now I'm always have this selected. If I don't, I can't access the content of those object properties. So that's volume. I might even measure volume another way just to see how it all works out. I don't have to do this. Volume check via area, something like that. Let me know how I did it. And Architecture Works, meters squared, and this time it would be area, which I've measured, times width, maybe width of the wall. And then let's put in the width. And there's a BIM object property. Now it could be called thickness. You kind of maybe have to just do a little experimenting in terms of the item itself to see where it is there. But is there a width? If I scroll down, width 240. Now the width of that, in terms of its volume, is probably the 225 block plus the render in each side. There could be a cap, although it's not shown, some sort of concrete cap or stone capping on that. But I think for the most part, I'm happy enough with that in terms of my measurement. So what I'm going to do is quite quickly, I am going to get that in the center of my pane, click Start Takeoff, and highlight it by drawing a rectangle holding down my left button as I kind of come down to the other side and diagonal fashion, release. That's all that stuff selected. Now that's not it measured. You have to click correct. Now you can do them individually by selecting them. Once you do, that color changes to the color you selected in your BIM takeoff. We got a wall area 259.31, length of 690.78, wall area check, slightly more, tiny bit more, given that there's a couple of decimal places there. I don't know why that's happening. Bonding to other work, 272.8 meters, and then the volume check and the volume itself is the exact same. So happy enough with that. You could even do a volume check by multiplying length times width times height and see how it comes out. But there's no point doing that. I think we're happy enough with those dimensions, and we could utilize them obviously in our cost plan. Okay, so that's this tutorial that I went through today, quite quick. I won't do this every week, but just in terms of setting it up for a couple of weeks and get going. Obviously, continue on as best you can with the items I've asked you to measure. I'll do another couple next week. I'm kind of selecting. Won't do them all with you in tutorials, but I'll certainly do a few of the difficult ones. That's probably the easiest one, but just to get you started.